Hey guys, okay, so here is one of our projects. I'm gonna go ahead and take these pieces apart. All right, we'll go ahead and put all of our letters here. Don't want to forget the little dot for the I. And I will do all of these in the same color here. All of our letters. And then I've got our florals there. And then I'm going to also put down, let me see. I'm going to paint that, and then we're gonna paint this, but let me kind of turn it sideways. I'm gonna have to do it like that. Okay. It's just already some, some cardboard with some tape I already had on it. So let's start here. I'm gonna go ahead and paint the whole background in some white paste here. Okay. Let's do, we're gonna get some white paste. I'm gonna put it out here, and I'm just gonna spray a little bit of water. So the paint that I'm actually using is chalk paste. It's a little bit thicker. It's great for stencils, but I also love to use it to color with. That way all of my decor matches. Okay, and I do have this ginormous brush because, you know, well, might as well try and cover as much as I can in one go. You could also use some sponges if you wanted to use the sponges, but this will work for us right now. Okay, so after you've done all of that, I just like to try and go over it, make sure that all of the streaks are going the same way. I'll even grab a little bit of water on my brush, okay, just to kind of blend in our paint back here. Because sometimes as we paint, we accidentally, you know, put our our finger on the edge while we're painting. But just add some water on the brush, go across it one last time here. All right, and now I can set that aside to dry, and then we're gonna go ahead and grab the next one, which will paint the border here. Okay, and on this one we could go ahead and do, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do like a dark blue. I love this dark blue color. Okay, so let's do, I'm just gonna take out some, you know, I could probably just take this out in here. No, let's put it in our little color tray. Because I am going to spray it with a little bit of water. Okay, it makes it a lot easier to just paint with, but I'm gonna also use one of our makeup sponges here. Also makes it a lot easier. Okay. Now, since I'm just going to be going around the edge, it's a little bit smaller, so I'm going to use the flat, smaller end. And I'm just going to swipe it across here. And when we're done, I'm going to paint the outsides after we glue it with this same color. So that way the edges on this aren't white, right? We want it to all match. So we'll paint back over it once we're done and fully put it together with that white. All right, so now we're gonna paint our mason jar. I think we're gonna do maybe a little bit lighter blue for our mason jar. I'm gonna save that because we're, like I said, we're gonna need that for the edges later. Oh, you know what? I actually want to do our words in this color too. Again, since the words are smaller, I don't want it to bleed like all on the side, so I'm just gonna dab. Okay, we're just gonna dab. with this one on all of our words here. Okay, and now that that's done, I'll move that aside. We will still use that color a little bit later, but let's do this. Let's see, let's open up some of our other blues. So I've got this lighter blue, and I've got this lighter blue. All right, the lighter blue, I think we're gonna, let me see what one's a little bit darker, but we could do our mason jar in this color, that lighter color, and then we could also paint this one. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and use our paintbrush. Okay. Let's get all of that off. All right, I'm gonna put this in a color tray here. And I did put it in the one that had white, so even if it was a little bit lighter, it's not, you know, not a huge deal. Okay. So now let's grab, we could go ahead and use the longer side. Okay, so we're gonna paint the inside of this butterfly because that's gonna be what shows through on the back end here. And then let's do our mason jar here as well. So it looks maybe a little bit more like it has water in it. I don't know. Maybe it's just the color of the mason jar. Okay, so now that we have that, then we're gonna have to paint inside here for our flowers. So our flowers, I think they go on like this. Okay, so we need to paint, I mean, that probably should be all green there, or we could just bring up from the mason jar here, we could bring that up a little bit. Okay. So now I want to paint in here our different, I think we'll do white inside of there. Okay. So let's do white. Okay, I'm just going to dab this in some white here. Press it down in our color tray. And then we'll just swipe this on across the whole thing at the top. You could probably spray a little bit of water in it just to help spread it out a little bit better. Okay, so now that was all white. I think that will be good. Okay. Possibly need to get some of my blue back in there because I kind of covered up a little bit of it. It's a little tough. Okay, I think that's okay. Looks good. Okay. So let's set that back aside to dry. Let's go ahead and come in here and paint these. We're gonna do a little bit of green in here, and let's see, we could do these two shades of blue, maybe for our flowers here. Possibly even one of them being this darker color, or maybe we find a third color for that. Okay, so green. I've got meadow here. Let's go ahead and use a little brush. Okay. This is kind of a smaller a smaller thing here to do for the leaves. So I might actually need to do the florals first, and then I'll come back because I may even have to paint over the florals. It may be easier. I'm gonna do it this way, and then I'll probably end up having to, like I said, just go back over it. So possibly you could just save yourself some time and go straight to color the flowers. All right, but we'll circle back around to that in a bit. So let's do one of these. So we've got this color here. Okay. I'm just gonna dab that a little bit with some water. I try not to do this in the lid too much, but if it was just a tiny little bit, I should probably, I should be okay. But when you end up with too much in the lid, it just kind of seeps on the sides of the jar where you need to close it. And sometimes it's hard to open. Okay, so there's one flower done. Okay, let's go ahead and do another one. Let's do this one. I think I'm just gonna try and use the bottom of this. Might get a little dirty here. Okay. This one is a little bit darker. Okay. Let's get over on the side of our leaf here. Okay. And then I do think we need a lighter one. So maybe we will just go ahead and do the ocean mist color we had. This one right here. Oops. Since we already have this color, I think that looks good. Okay, so see, now I need to go back over some of the leaves. Okay, let me just fix up a couple of these where I got a little piece on the other flowers. So just fix it up a little bit. Looks good. It's okay if they kind of blend into each other. Oops, probably not like that. All right. I think I'm okay with that. Maybe. Okay. Let's go back over with our green and fill in whatever little spaces we have left here. Okay. Let's get this side. And this one. Right, so I definitely do recommend color. Paint your flowers first, and then come back and do the leaves. Much easier. Okay. All right. That looks good. And we could do this butterfly maybe in this a little mix between the two blues, this lighter blue and a little bit darker blue. Kind of do a little blend. So let's get, again, a little bit of paste here. Okay, and then we're gonna do, I'll just go over all of that real quick. Then let's come in with this one. Okay, and I think, let me see if I could get this part in our darker blue. Oh, I think that looks good. And I could probably just do a little bit of white. Do I have any white left? Oh. Well, that looks kind of cool, huh? Okay, sure, why not? A little bit of a happy accident there. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how all of this looks together. And if we need to change anything, then we will. So we're gonna get out our back part here. Then we've got our frame, okay? And then we've got our mason jar. We've got our flowers. Okay, which I'm thinking maybe we actually do, I don't know, just a little bit of something on the inside here. Just so it's not so white. So I'm just taking my sponge and just pressing it kind of all around. Accidentally got some up there. Okay, let's see if that looks any better. Yeah. I just think it looked a little funny just being all white in the background. So I think I like that better. Okay. And we've got our butterfly. Pretty. We have our Live in Full bloom. And we can kind of see where the letters are. The Live in Full, you can see where the letters go. And then that just helps us space out where the life and the bloom goes. And the butterfly. Ta-da, how cute. Okay, so let's go ahead and start to glue. Okay, so the glue that I'm going to use is the Aleene's Tacky Glue. There's a turbo tacky option as well, but whichever one you want to use is fine. If you want to use super glue, that works too. All right, so I'm just going to put some of the glue here in a color tray, because I find that this helps. And then get yourself a little brush. This actually happens to be a Mod Podge brush that I had handy. But I like that it helps whenever you've got a little brush that you can just kind of dab. Or you could probably just use one of those, what we were just using, these guys, maybe. Let me try not to touch that end, but I'm gonna dab this in here. Ta-da, look at that. That's so much better. And we're gonna throw it away anyway, so we used it for painting, and now we're using the other end for gluing. and just place it on there. And it sticks pretty good. It's a little bit thicker glue, so it doesn't just slide around too much unless you really slide it, but you can maneuver it, and look, it doesn't fall off right away. Just make sure you've got it where you want it. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna do the same things with our letters. Get some glue on there. Set it down. That one's a little smaller. Might be a little harder to put in there, but if you've got some reverse tweezers, those are awesome to use as well. Okay, so let's just go ahead, continue to do this for all of our letters real quick. Okay. All right, so now that our letters are all the way down, let's go ahead and start gluing on our butterfly. So I will take some of this glue right on here, and then I will still spread it out just a little bit. This just helps it to dry a little bit faster, and plus it's gonna get the glue on all of the pieces, not just in those little spots that you place the glue. So I just like to spread it out, help hold it down a little bit better. We'll place that on here. Okay. Now, if you choose to paint all the way around, now is a good time to paint it right before you put it back down. So if you choose to do that, that is up to you. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and add glue and add glue. Okay, and I still like to spread it out, even on the bigger pieces. So just kind of get it out to all the little corners here, on the little edges, on the bottom. And the mason jar does have a little flat piece on the bottom, so that way that can sit right at the bottom of the frame. Okay, I'm going to set that there. We'll do this one. Okay, we can go ahead and put this one down. I think that's a good spot. And then we're going to do our frame. Okay, so same thing. I'm just going to add the glue around the frame. Okay, close that on up. And I'm going to use my little brush just to go around the frame. And then I'm going to put my frame down, and then I will put my mason jar down just so I can make sure everything looks good and it's even before we fully set it all down. Okay, all right, I'm going to drop my brush in the water because I can just wash that glue right off, use my brush again. So what I like to do once I glue it, I will set it on the table and press it that way and press it that way real quick just to make sure it's even. Then we can go back in and set down our mason jar. Okay, and I push it all the way down here to the bottom. I'm gonna get a marker and we're gonna start to do a little bit of outlining here, okay, on the mason jar. All right, and I like to use the Sharpie creative markers. So we could do a full outline, or I'm just gonna color in this section right here. It has an outline already, and if you can kind of follow the line on it, can't seem to draw a straight line, but I'm trying. Even though the line is there for you to follow. And I'm gonna color this piece in with our marker here. Okay. All right, and let's see, what else? We might even, you know what, that may even be fine, unless I do, like, do I want to do around the edges there? Maybe we just do a little bit of outlining here. Okay. I'm just following the lines. So maybe you do this before you glue the florals on. Okay. And let's see, I think this section as well. Okay. I think I'm gonna color that in. Let's see. I grabbed the bullet point one. To kind of color it in a little bit more. You could also just color it back in with the paste that you have, or paint. Okay. But I think that may be good. Yeah. I might even do like a little bit more. Okay. We'll just do some dots on the butterfly all the way around. That'd be kind of cute. Up to you, however you want to decorate it. I figured I just needed to add a little bit more, maybe like, what do I say, dimension or something to it. Let's see. Maybe I want to add, I don't know. Oh! Like that. Okay. And maybe we add some little dots here on this flower. Ta-da! I will do a little bit here on these letters. I think that's cute. And maybe we do a little bit on those two. I have to look at it like this. I want to write something here like Mason, but I'm not a very good hand writer. I think I'll leave it like that. I think it's cute. I think that came out good. We're gonna go ahead and paint the sides real quick. Okay, so I'm just gonna take some of that darker blue paste we had, add a little bit of water here. Okay, and then we just go along the sides, just like that. Okay. All right, so once it is painted on all sides, it's drying, we're gonna go ahead and get whatever you want to hang it up with. We could probably just use some regular twine, or you could use a little bit thicker twine. Definitely up to you on what you want to use. Or if you have a ribbon that you like, you could use that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut this ribbon. And I think I'm gonna try, let me see what it looks like. If I were to knot it in the front, could we get it to where it looks cute? That's usually why I would use twine, because I do think if you knot the twine in the front, I think it looks cute. But typically with ribbon, it doesn't always come out that way. Okay. So far, so good. Now if I could just keep it, like make it stay like that, that would be best. Okay. So I'm gonna hang it like that. I think that's a good. All right, let me pull this a little bit so it's easier for me to tie. Let me pull it again just to make sure that's a good, yeah, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and start knotting it up. We're gonna go with 3 knots there. All right. There we go. I think that looks adorable. I love it. What do you guys think? I cannot wait to see yours. Be sure to post them in the cutout group, R&B Custom Designs, so we can see it, okay? All right, y'all, take care.